Good afternoon to everyone who is watching us today. Let's begin with the webinar introducing Infortar Group financial results for third quarter of 2024. I am Kadri Laanvee, the Investor Relations Manager at Infortar, and joining me today to provide an overview of Infortar activities is the Managing Director, Martti Talgre. We will start with an overview of our activities and key events in third quarter 2024, and then after the presentation, we'll answer the questions sent to us. If anyone is watching now and wants to ask a question, please use the Q&A button at Teams. We will not disclose the names of the questionnaires, so no need to worry about that. Today's presentation will be recorded and made available later on the Infortar investor website. Let's start with an overview of business activities, and I'll hand over to Martti.
Thank you, Kadri, and good afternoon, dear Infortar shareholders and investors. Infortar is the largest investment company in Estonia and one of the largest in the whole Baltic region. Our activities focus on three main sectors where we are active in. So firstly, maritime transportation, secondly, energy, and thirdly, real estate. Although all those sectors are different, they also share a lot of similarities. They are all stable, they are all capital intensive, they have high entry barriers, and they all generate strong cash flow. Infortar has always focused on growing our business, whether going into new business areas or expanding geographically, going into new countries. And that has taken us into the largest investment company position in Estonia. I think it's good to reflect a little bit back for a past year, what we have been listed in Tallinn Stock Exchange. So we went public on December 14th, 2023. And since then, there has been quite a significant expansion and growth of our company. So end of Q3 last year, our balance sheet was 1.43 billion euros, and today it's almost 2.5 billion euros, which is 75% of growth. The same goes for revenue. Last year, 9 months, our revenue was 747 million euros, and today for 9 months it's 926, which is roughly a quarter of growth. Our equity has also increased significantly, so it was 771 million euros and stands today at 1.22 billion, so it's almost 60% of the growth. And also the EBITDA has moved in the positive direction from 106 million euros to 117. And I think all our shareholders should be quite happy. So our IPO price was 26 euros. Today it's actually more than 43, which means that we have grown from market cap of 550 million euros to more than 900 million euros as of today. So that makes one of the largest capitalized company in Tallinn Stock Exchange. Regarding the markets, we're operating in 7 markets, so Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, Poland, Sweden, and Germany. So the whole balance sheet, what we have as of today, 2.5 billion euro, it gives us a very good platform to continue with our expansion in the future as well. Maybe just quickly about the segments we are operating in. So maritime shipping or maritime transportation represents Tallink. So we increased our shareholding to 68.5%. And the main activity here is passengers and cargo transportation. Tallink is also publicly listed in Tallinn Stock Exchange, so quite a household name in Estonia and in the region. Then our energy interests are represented by Eesti Gas, where we own 100% of the company, and the company is operating in the Baltic Finnish market, but also in Poland and Germany. And when we look at our real estate portfolio, then we have 116,000 square meters of different properties, mainly in Tallinn, and one asset in Riga as well. And over the years, our other supportive businesses have expanded quite a bit as well. So our engineering and construction business has gone quite a long way and is doing quite strongly as well. We have invested additionally into agriculture. We recently bought a printing house to support our existing printing businesses. So actually, the importance of the other businesses is growing all the time. But now when we move forward to the key events from our 9 months this year, then I think the key word for this year has been growth. I a little bit talk about the numbers already, but we have done 4 acquisitions this year. So the largest one was in Q3, but that was the voluntary takeover bid for Tallink, under which we increased our shareholding from 46 to 68.5%. But we have also bought a dairy farm back in Q2, and beginning of Q4, we closed the acquisition of a printing house transaction. All in all, this year alone, we have invested 138 million euros. Some of you might remember that when we went public, we said that in 2023 to 2025, we planned to invest approximately 110 million euros. But as of today, in 2023 and 2024, we have invested already more than 300 million euros. And after the closing of EWE transaction in Poland, what we announced last Friday, our investment amount will exceed 400 million euros already. Regarding the performance of our segments, so Maritime Transport had a strong Q3. Of course, they are a little bit hurt by the general macroeconomic situation both in Finland and Estonia. But still, they have a very strong financial position and that they have continuously reduced the leverage. Regarding energy, the keywords are, of course, expansion. So I will say a little bit more regarding the EWE transaction in later stage. But we have also managed to increase our sales volumes of natural gas and then also our infra segment after the full integration of Gasol, the acquisition from last year, has come out successfully. So the infra sub-segment is delivering very strong performance. And our real estate segment is doing nicely. The result is very stable. There has been a continuous improvement in the financial performance, and also our development projects go according to the plan of the Rimi Logistics Center in Saue, the new build logistics center, and also the Pärnu Bridge project from the infra segment are going quite nicely. So that's briefly. I will dig a little bit deeper into the segments after Godli has talked you through the numbers. So this is a little bit more complicated than it has been before because the Tallink acquisition had a significant impact on our reporting. But Godli will take you more into the details. Thanks.
Thank you, Martti. Here we show the third quarter results for 2024 compared to the same period for 2023 and also year-end results. As Martti already explained, Infortar today is a different company than 2 years ago. In 2023, we had the Gasol transaction, first time consolidated into our numbers. And 2024 marks the first full year with Gasol included. Additionally, in 2024, we started consolidating Tallink Group line by line. We are very happy with the success of the voluntary public offering for Tallink shares. However, it does complicate comparability of the financial results. So what's more, following the last week's news regarding Poland, it really appears that we need to explain a little bit more details behind the numbers we are going to show you. And I also want to add one more disclaimer. Once you read our numbers, please bear in mind that the balance sheet provides a snapshot of company's financial position on the specific date, including total assets and liabilities starting from beginning of the year until the end of 9 months. Meanwhile, income statement reflects revenues and expenses over a certain period. For example, currently we are presenting Tallink numbers for 2 months, and it will include the sales revenues and profits for those 2 months only. So, Infortar began consolidating Tallink figures line by line starting from 1st of August 2024. So, Infortar Group's consolidated revenue for third quarter amounted to 922 million. Representing a growth of 179 million compared to the same period last year. Next, we present EBITDA, a key profitability indicator for us. EBITDA was 117 million and net profit 187 million. So these results include Tallink's figures for August and September, which were not included last year. However, last year's net profit figure did include the one-off impact from Kaso transaction. When reading Infortar's quarterly report, we recommend checking also note number 2, the segment reporting, where you can find Tallink's numbers shown in 100% results also in last year. As of September 2024, Infortar's equity stood at 1.2 billion and assets total 2.5 billion. To calculate the book value of shares for comparability, we have subtracted minority equity from total equity, and the number of shares is 21,166,000. Earnings per share have been calculated consistently with the same share number, minus the own shares, 925,000. For that part, we don't pay dividends. Free cash stands at 96 million, and net debt has changed as Tallink's loans are now included in the 9 months figures for 2024. Internally, we also monitor the investment loan to EBITDA ratio, which is 2.3 for the 9-month period. The comparative period does not include Tallink, but for the calculation, we have used Tallink's whole segment EBITDA for 9 months, again to be consistent with comparing the numbers. Infortar ambition is to grow mainly in foreign markets. And regarding Infortar business segments, our Managing Director Martti will now explain in more detail what's happening.
Thank you, Kadri. So I will now dig a little bit deeper into our 3 main segments, and this time I start from Tallink, because after acquiring additional 22% in Tallink and raising our stake to 68.5%, Tallink represents the largest part of our balance sheet as of today. So just a quick reflection that this year we have increased our stake in Tallink from 42 to 68.5%. And as a reminder, I think back in 2015, our stake in Tallink was 36%. So there has been quite a significant investment from our end to increase our stake in Tallink. But Tallink is, I think, a household name in the region. So it's a leading maritime transportation company in the Baltic Sea. Has demonstrated strength and resilience in different crises, and is currently in a very good shape. Tallink is impacted by the general macroeconomic situation. Both Estonia and Finland consumer confidence numbers are not too strong yet. But still, I think bearing this in mind, Tallink has delivered a very strong financial results in 9 months this year, and that has been the reason why we have been investing into the company and have increased our stake there. What's also very important to point out here is that Tallink has continuously reduced the leverage. So within this year, they have paid back or repaid about 60 million euros of loans. And the debt to EBITDA ratio stands at 2.98, which basically means that the company is capable to repay all their loans in 3 years. So I think that when we look at the composition of the Tallink balance sheet, which is full of real assets, high quality ships, then the ratio is a very strong one. And I think from the shareholders' point of view, it gives us a confidence that Tallink can pay dividends to the shareholders. That includes Infortar. When we just look a little bit into if we go to the next slide. So this slide here illustrates the quarterly performance of Tallink. All in all, I think the fact that the company has generated 150 million euros as EBITDA in first 9 months is a very strong indicator. Of course, when we have a comparison with the previous year results, then 2024 numbers are a little bit weaker than they were a year ago, but last year was a record result. And when you look into the numbers more in details, then I think that the main impact of that slight decrease comes from the fact that as of today, 2 ships are standing still or are laid up in the port, meaning that they don't generate cash flow. And I think that actually represents the main difference in the cash flow generation. And maybe another important thing to point out regarding Tallink is that in 2024, Tallink restarted payment of dividends. So that also resulted in the dividend income tax of 9 million euros in Q3 when the dividends were distributed. So that also had an impact when you compare the numbers. Now, when we move forward to energy, so energy is our second largest investment. So in 2016, we bought Eesti Gas, and at that point of time, Eesti Gas was a local retailer of natural gas and the owner of the local natural gas distribution network. But over those 8 years, we have grown the company significantly. So as of today, Eesti Gas, with the international brand name Elenger, is the largest privately owned energy company in Finnish Baltic energy region. And then there is also the biggest player in the natural gas market. So a very, very nice and strong development. Our market share in the Finnish Baltic region as of today is 26%. So there has been a slight increase over the previous year, but just kind of giving you the longer history that back in 2019, our market share was 7% only. So it has been a very tremendous growth what our energy has managed to achieve. I think also last year there was a very important milestone for Eesti Gas. So we acquired 100% of the Latvian monopolistic natural gas distribution network Gaso. So the company is currently nicely integrated, is delivering very strong results. So actually the whole infra business, actually can move to the next slide as well. So the whole infra business is delivering very strong results. So when you look at this slide, so what is clearly seen here is that we have managed to continuously increase our volumes. So we have sold 27% more energy during this year compared to previous year. We have a strong market share. The financial performance is a little bit weaker than it was a year ago, but the reason here is that the energy market has kind of normalized. But the fact that now we have a significant part of the cash flow generated by the very stable and regulated infra part of the energy, I think gives a confidence for us and also, I believe, for Infortar investors. And also seasonally, what's important to bear in mind is that when in maritime transportation, the strong quarters are second and first quarter. then in energy, actually, the strong quarters are first and fourth. So second and third quarters, in essence, are low season. So that was maybe wasn't fully that way back in 22-23, which were really extraordinary years full of risks, but also opportunities. The fact is that the cash flow generated from the energy sales has normalized. But I think the good thing is that the money what we managed to earn, we have reinvested into business and then now have significantly stronger cash flow generation capability. And the fact that the significant part is coming from infrastructure, I think, is very encouraging. What we want to grow. So this is the clear idea of the whole Infortar group. So last Friday we announced that we have signed a transaction in Poland. So but if you move forward, so we signed an agreement to acquire EWE Polska. So this is a Polish subsidiary. Actually, it's a group of 3 companies. Which was the Polish business of EWE, a large German energy company, but they are focusing into their German business and want to exit from the Polish business. So in our eyes, EWE Polska has many similarities with Eesti Gaas when we bought Eesti Gaas back in 2016. So they also own a distribution network. They have the energy sales business. When we look at the numbers, then they have about 2,300 kilometers of pipelines. They have about 25,000 customers. They sell about 1.2 terawatt hours of energy on a yearly basis. Their asset base is 170 million euros. Out of that, the regulated asset base is slightly more than 100 million euros. Their sales have been approximately 150 million euros. 2023 was financially a little bit challenging for them, but historically the company has generated approximately 15 million euros of EBITDA per year. So we see that the EWE would be a very good platform for us to grow our business further in Poland. As I said, lots of similarities with Eesti Gaas back in 2016. The only difference is that the EWE is a bigger company than Eesti Gaas was at that point of time. So we believe it's going to serve as a good foundation for our business growth in Poland because, when we just look at the market, the Polish natural gas market is 4 times bigger than the Finnish Baltic market, and that having stronger presence there, I think, is important for our continuous growth there. Now moving forward to real estate. So real estate is out of our 3 segments. So you can go to the next slide, please. Is out of our 3 segments, maybe it's smallest, but I think it gives us a lot of stability. We own 116,000 square meters, which generate cash flow for us. So the indexation is always helping here. So the results are a little bit stronger than they were the previous year. But we're also developing this part as well. So we have we are in the very late stage or final stage of completion of the logistics center of Rivi in Saue, close to Tallink. So another 25,000 square meters would be added into our portfolio, and we have quite a bit of development potential in our land, approximately 65,000 square meters of additional building rates, what are ready to build because the building permits are issued and actively work to secure cash flows for those properties and hit the ground. From the numbers point of view, the segment revenue has increased by 15% versus the previous year, so from 11.6 million euros to 13.4 million. And net operating income, which is the main KPI in the segment, has went from 10.7 to 12 million euros, so 12% of increase here as well. And from Infortar's point of view, we don't only own and develop real estate, but we have also a very, very professional engineering and construction company group in our group as well. So it all started from building the infrastructures for ourselves, but what we have expanded that part significantly. So we are in civil engineering, power grids, natural gas pipelines, but also now building a bridge in Pärnu and looking into other infrastructure construction. So we are very proud of that part of the business we have as well. Kadri, now when we would move forward, I would start wrapping up. So Infortar as an investment, I think that the main 5 key points to bear in mind here are that first, I think we have a very strong and diversified portfolio platform, a platform of 2.5 billion euros to continue with our growth. It's diversified it's in different sectors, it's in different countries, and that generates us a good cash flow. Our focus is to continue the growth, and I think that's something we have also demonstrated that we can deliver. So a year ago, our asset base was 1.5 billion, now 2.5 billion. Our sales have increased, our cash flow generation is stronger. So we want to grow the business, and I think we know how to do that. We are always looking at the synergies within our companies and agility as well. So when we have opportunities, we are capable to react fast. And although we have grown into quite a sizable company, I think we still have the agility and we can react very fast. And also we have a very unique competence when it comes to growing the company or acquiring new businesses. So like we're saying, buying new companies is a business as usual for us. So within this year, we have done 4 acquisitions. So I think that really demonstrates that capability. And we believe that having a platform like we have, which generates strong cash flow, is something that really allows us to continue the growth and pay good dividend as well. So I think that's maybe Infortar at glance what we are as an investment. So thank you.
Thank you, Martti, for this good overview. We have received some questions and promised to answer them. So let's start. Infortar net profit that decreased. Will Infortar pay dividends next year?
So I think that firstly the decrease of profitability came mainly from the fact that last year we had very large one-off because we managed to buy gas with a very good price. So it was one-off profit what we had. But when it comes to our dividend payment, I think we have strong liquidity. We have a very clear dividend policy. So our dividend policy says that we pay at least €1 per share, which we will definitely do. We have also said that we will pass through to our shareholders all dividends what we received from Tallink. So maybe important thing to bear in mind here is that last year we had approximately 40% of Tallink, meaning that we distributed to our shareholders 40% of dividends paid by Tallink, but this year we have 68.5%. So that's significantly larger part of the potential dividend pass-through and distribution. And also we have said that depending on the liquidity position, the investment pipeline, we might also have an extraordinary part of the dividend. So this year we paid altogether €3. So €1 as the base dividend, €1 as a pass-through from Tallink, and €1 was the one-off, so altogether €3. So I think that when we look at the financial performance, liquidity and leverage of Infortar, then I think it's quite sure that we will stay with our dividend policy. However, what is exactly the amount of dividends to be paid next year? This is something that we are going to announce at the end of February, with the introduction of our Q4 and full year results.
Thank you. Can you please shortly comment on how long can such a rapid growth continue for a company?
I think that we are continuously looking around for new possibilities. So we have the experience, we have the capability, so we know how to integrate companies successfully. So actually, we're looking into very many potential transactions all the time. But what's always very important is that when you make those large acquisitions, then you might have to make sure that you integrate those companies and that they will get part of your group and they will deliver strong results. So I think we're capable to and we're willing to continue with the growth. But I think that regarding the specific details, we will let you know each and every time via stock exchange.
And we already announced the news in last week, in the end of last week, so we are continuing the growth. Do you see a risk of Infortar's share price dropping sharply?
I think that it's a very good question, but it's very hard to give a good answer here. So I think that all in all, when we look at the performance so far, I think it has been very solid. So we have been listed now for almost 11 months, and the share price is up, I think, like 65%. So it's quite solid. And I think the underlying business of Infortar is strong. But of course, eventually there are very different factors what impact the share price. So from the management point of view, I wouldn't give any guidances when it comes to the share price. But we believe we have a very, very good and strong company as Infortar.
Thank you, Martti, and thank you very much to everyone who watched us, and also to those who will watch us later. If you have any questions about Infortar as an investment, you can always contact me via email or by phone. And this is all for today. Thank you.
Thank you.